And I did not answer the questions in the way that they wanted them to be answered. This is when the instruments that I named before would be used, primarily by the New Orleans Police Department. They were the main physical aggressors. The FBI and the San Francisco police and the Los Angeles police and the New York police were the ones to do the questioning after the physical abuse had taken place from the New Orleans Police Department.
Torture has an ugly connection with United States history, at least dating back to slavery. The lynching of slaves who ran away, the castration, the mutilation of slaves was all used in this country and not sanctioned for hundreds of years. In the 60s and 70s, particularly against the Black Panther Party, beatings and interrogation, forms of torture were being used against members of the Black Panther Party primarily. And what happened in 1973 in New Orleans is one example.
All during the time this was taking place, I can hear John Bowman in another room where he was hollering, and you could hear the licks being passed. They took what they call a slapjack. It's like a little short blackjack. And they started working the back of my neck, my shoulders. Then one would get down and he'd work my shins and between my knees. They would beat me like that. They did that. I don't know, it seemed like it was hours, but it could have been 30 minutes, could have been an hour, could have been 2 hours, I don't know. It's back again with the plastic bag. This time they had a blanket. I don't know what they soaked it in, but it was really, really hot. And they just covered me with that blanket and put that plastic bag over my head. And I couldn't scream, I couldn't holler, I couldn't get my hands up to poke a hole in the bag because I was handcuffed to the chair and my legs were tied to the chair. And they kicked the chair over and let me just suffocate. I was just about to pass out. They'd snatch it off, spit in my face. They left me sitting there for a little while. McCoy and Erlax, they started asking me questions. And I had no knowledge of the things they were asking me, so I couldn't answer them, you know. So they said, well, they turned off the recorder and whatever they had and said, well, we'll tell you what happened. And then after we tell you, this is what we want you to say.
So I did make statements. I did waive my rights to an attorney, which means I waived my Miranda rights. I did all of this because of the physical aggression and the brutality that was being put upon my body.
One got behind me and he took his hands and he slapped them like that over my ears. I couldn't hear nothing. My ears were just ringing so bad. I could feel the fluid running down my side of my face. And they were talking to me, but I couldn't hear them. All I could hear was ringing. Whenever they stood me up to make me walk, I couldn't walk. They had to just kind of just carry me back into the other room. And when they get me back in there, they start again. And they'd beat, and they'd beat, they'd beat, and then Erlax, McCoy would come back in, and they would kind of grin and laugh. They were all laughing. They thought it was a lot of fun, and I was a big joke. They started asking me questions, so I started talking to them, telling them just like I followed their whole script. Everything they told me to say, I said it just like whatever Reuben told them, I repeated what Reuben said. So they said, well, we got what we want, and we're through. Federal magistrate in New Orleans ordered me out of the custody of New Orleans Police Department. That's the only way I got away from them, to put me in the custody of the Sheriff Department. And they had pictures of me, they had doctors that said that I had bruised eardrums. Everything that I said happened and JB said happened. We had evidence to prove it. you know, and they ordered us over to Parish Prison under the Sheriff Department where they kept us in a cage. After all of that happened, years passed by, because of the harassment by the FBI and other police agencies in Los Angeles, I could no longer live there. I had to relocate. So I moved to Florida, that was in 1980. I moved to Florida, found a job, got married, had 3 kids. Everything was going smooth.
While I was in prison, I got an AA and a TA in electronics, and it made it easier for me to get into the field that I'm in now. I'm an electrician and have been since the time that I was released in 1977, 1978. I've worked for Los Angeles County as an electrician in their health services department. I've worked in the various hospitals around the county since 1981 until this day. I met and married my present wife in 1977, just a few months after I was released from prison. I met her through a mutual friend. We've been together ever since and have lived a very peaceful life. We don't go out at night.
In 2003, I was sitting in my home, and my doorbell rang, and here are 2 agents, and they want to interrogate me or ask me some questions about incidents happened over 30 years ago in San Francisco.
Just out of the blue, I get a visit from FBI. District attorney from here, and McCoy of all people, he comes with him. I walk into the room and I look at him and I said, what is this about? They said, we want to have a conversation with you. We want to talk to you about something in San Francisco. And McCoy says, you know what I mean? I said, well, you know, I think I need a lawyer. I don't have anything to say to you guys. He says, Harold, he said, we want to talk to you. I said, no. I said, because you know what you did in New Orleans, and you recognize the fact that what took place in New Orleans, that what you guys did to me and John Bowman, how you beat us and tortured us, and I wouldn't talk to him.
The same people who tried to kill me in 1973 are the same people who are here today, 2005, trying to destroy me. I mean it literally. I'm very concerned. I'm angry. I don't feel like it's right. I don't feel like it's something that should go unnoticed, or I don't feel like the government should be able to get away with continuously to harass.
2 investigators, Mr. Erdelatz and another FBI agent, came to my door and told me they wanted to talk about white people. Instead of my telling them that I needed to speak to an attorney, I actually invited them in. And through the course of their interview, found out that they were investigating some unsolved crimes in 1971. And during the course of the interview, which started out very amiably, at the end, Mr. Erdelatz was seething and told me that he intended to see us all behind bars. And he named a whole list of people, some I knew and some I didn't know.